Good evening, or season, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing? I hope you guys join me. I hope you join me. Join me. It's 3:01 and it's time for the social media family meeting. And today is episode 3, where I want to just very quickly, take us through, you know, a journey through mental health, and how that it correlates with mental wealth. Last week we couldn't hold this episode. This was supposed to have held last week Wednesday, and because I was a little bit under the weather. Adela Lucy, thank you so much for joining. Can help me share, if it's possible. Can help me share the video so that other people can join us. Please stay with me. Stay with me. I promise that this is going to be a valuable live broadcast for you. Okay. And if you have any question in the course of the broadcast, just feel free to ask in the comment section and I'll answer it. Okay. So as I was saying, last week we were supposed to have this episode, but because I was a little bit under the weather, I had to postpone it. Yeah. So this live broadcast is currently going on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So, and this is the third episode. Okay, so I plan to go, keep on doing this. Thank you so much, Goshen George Hub, for joining. Please stay with me, and I promise that this is gonna be a very, very quality time that you're gonna spend. Here I'll try my best not to go beyond 30 minutes, even though this webinar series is designed to be 1 hour, but I think a lot of people don't stick around long enough for 1 hour. So I try my best to make it maybe 30, 35, 40 minutes. Yeah. So mental health. Mental health. Today's episode is titled Mental Health versus Mental Wealth. Mental health versus mental wealth. And if people can just get their hands on the concept of mental health, a lot is being said about mental health, but I feel that we are not delving into the root of the dynamics of mental health, and which is one of the reasons why I decided that I'm going to do this particular episode. Yeah. Now, a lot of content that's going around about mental health is impressive. Is worthy of applause because, man, a lot of people are ignorant about the dynamics of their mind and dynamics of their mental health. And the more fora that we can have talking about mental health, the better. Okay, you find people just hit depression, or you find people just Dr. Livingston, thanks for joining. Please stick around. You find people just not able to, forge ahead. Some even contemplate suicide. It's basically because they are not in charge. They're not in charge of their mental health, or the dynamism of their mental health. Now, when we talk about mental health, what do we really mean? The first thing I like to introduce to people as far as mental health is concerned is their human body. Okay, we make it look like our mind is not in our body. Our body carries our mind. Our body carries our soul, which is one of the important chambers of the human mind. Yeah. And if you do not, first of all, pay attention to your mind, if you do not, first of all, pay attention to the way your body, to the way your body has been wired to work, because there is no rocket science to it. The way your body is right now, at whatever age you are right now, is the way your body have been wired from childhood. Now, I know there is genetic makeup. I know there is genetic inheritance, but I also know that more than genetic inheritance, more than genetic makeup, as important as your genetic makeup is your body, is the environment that your body was nurtured in. And a lot of people do not pay attention to that. Now, in my book, Personal Discovery Secret, I demystify, the human body. I broke down the human body in a way that a 10-year-old can understand. Yeah. So, first of all, we need to pay attention to our body. What is going into our body? How is our body wired to work currently? What is the memory in our body currently, based on the activities and the events that we have introduced our body to over time, whether we introduced our bodies to those activities or those events intentionally or unintentionally, it doesn't matter. The body has a memory of those events or of those activities. Yeah. And it's important that you know succinctly, precisely, what your current neurophysiological makeup is. Yeah. Now, one of the reasons why a lot of people have this mood swing and all of that is because they do not pay attention to the elemental minerals in their body. The body has 102 minerals. Now, if for whatever reason and all those minerals are always in equilibrium, state of equilibrium, and if for whatever reason you distort or destabilize that equilibrium, you are going to experience the negative effect. You're going to experience negative effect on your mental health, which is why I tell people to not just be a puppet of the food industry. You can't just be a puppet of the food industry, because you are supposed to be you're supposed to be the caretaker of your body. You're supposed to be the one in charge of everything that has to do with your body. You're supposed to be in charge, and you're supposed to be informed about it. So a lot of people eat stuff that negatively set these minerals into this equilibrium state. And once these minerals are in this equilibrium state, you are going to experience that negative effect in your mental health. So you have to pay attention to the proper food that helps to maintain the equilibrium of these 102 minerals in your body. That one alone is a symposium discussion. We can dedicate an entire episode to that. So pay attention to the 102 minerals in your body. The more attention you pay to it, the more intelligent you become about how to proactively nurture your body in a way that is mineral compatible. Now, the food you eat, one of the things I tell people about food is ensure that the food you're eating is compatible with your gene. It's compatible with your genetic makeup. Now, one of my favorite food is the local banana. Okay, local banana. Why? Because it is 97% closer to the DNA of an African person. The local banana, not all the hybrids that we have everywhere now. I'm talking about the local banana. That's the original banana. That banana is 97% DNA related to the gene of an African person, melanated person. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why it's one of my favorite food, because it's gene compatible with me. And every other thing I take, the other fruits I take, it's important that you pay proper attention to those things. See, these are the things that makes you, it is this violation that makes people have suicide tendencies. it is the violation of, your elemental makeup, your mineral makeup. It is the disequilibrium of those minerals, essentially, that will make somebody to feel depressed, you know, and things like that. Yeah. So it's pretty important that you pay attention to what you eat. A lot of people are suffering, are abusing food. They eat too much of the wrong thing, as a matter of fact, and they now make it look like, when they start having those mood swings and all of that, they make it look like it is rocket science, like it's mysterious, like it's some spiritual attack. It's not spiritual attack, anything. It's you not proactively paying attention to nutritional intelligence, nutritional education, because you become what you eat, basically. Yeah. And so if you're not paying attention to the food, you know that what you eat also affects your hormones. Hormones are instructors, yeah, instructors in your body. The kind of food that you expose your body to, that you expose yourself to, that you eat, that you consume, influences positively or negatively your hormones, your hormonal balance or imbalance. The kind of food that you eat either positively or negatively affect it. So it's pretty important that you pay proper attention to what goes into your mouth, whatever it is. Anything that goes into your mouth is more or less like food, whether it is edible food, whether it's alcohol. You have to pay attention to all those things. You have to ask yourself certain, personal questions, honest questions. My consuming this thing, whatever it is it going to help me become a better person? Is it going to help me uh, lead a healthier life? Is it going to help me balance, maintain the mineral balance in my body? Is it going to help me maintain the hormonal balance in my body? See, pain in your body is the result of some kind of imbalance. When see the universe is governed by laws, yeah, and all those laws tries to ensure that there is balance in the universe. Now, whenever there is a kind of imbalance, there will be, that's when you see maybe an earthquake. That's when you see maybe a hurricane or whatever, yeah, flooding, because there's some kind of imbalance. And most of us are not, don't have that helicopter view of having access to a wide range of data that we can use to ensure that we always keep our body in a state of balance. Yeah. So if you as an individual are not proactively looking at these things, proactively asking questions, okay, mainstream media advertises that thing to you, and as something that you should consume, irrespective of the kind of authority or the kind of respect that you have for mainstream media, you should ask yourself some honest questions. Okay, mainstream media is saying this. Okay, this particular company is advertising this product. Okay, and they're advertising it as something that is good for me. Um, I need to ask myself a question: Is this thing really good for me? It might be good for some other person, but is it really good for me? So because, like I said, you are the caretaker of your own body, and a lot of mysteries that happen in people's lives can be traced to the way they handle their body, the way they manage their body. And by the time you gain control of this, you realize that the pivotal effect is that you begin to lead a higher quality mental health. You begin to champion a higher quality mental health. Yeah. Now, when we talk about depression, we talked about it earlier. We talk about depression or things like procrastination. There is really no mystery to it. Depression is a low state of energy vibration. Yeah, is a manifestation of a lower state of energy vibration. Same as procrastination. When you are feeling depressed, just ask yourself, number one, why am I feeling depressed? Number two, what have I been eating lately? This is just that simple. What have I been eating lately? Nobody who consumes high frequency food who find themselves in state of depression. It's a it's a state of lower energy frequency where energy is resonating at a lower frequency. That's why the person is depressed. Depression, the cure to depression is as simple as change of state. Just change the state. And one of the proactive things you can do to change your state, your current state, if it's a depressed state, is the food. Take high frequency food, what I call live food. And fruits and vegetables are the my recommendation. Yeah, alkaline fruits like watermelon, um, dates, coconut, electrolytes. Yeah, electrolytes are very, very good. Sugarcane. Electrolytes are very good at helping to optimize your energy frequency. Very, very good. Oranges. Yeah, cucumber. Yeah, so these are things that these are fruits. These are food that you can consume and in less than 10-20 minutes. Blackberry, blueberries. Yeah, in less than 10-20 minutes your state is changed. It's for those of you who have not really paid attention to it. I want to implore you to begin to pay attention to it. You will see the magic happen in less than few minutes, where you go from depressed to feeling highly excited in less than 20-30 minutes. Yeah. And of course, it pays also to surround yourself with the right set of people. There's a concept that I introduced to my students, in my business coaching. I call it space management. They say that you are the average of the top 5 people that you hang out with. If maybe the people that you hang out with most of the time are people who are always complaining or comparing themselves to other people or contending with other people, you know, always engaging in metastasizing cancerous behaviors, it will rub off on you as well. Okay, so you have to intentionally manage your space. If you're not intentionally managing your space, you are going to be the result of the people that you allow into your space. So, intentionally managing your space, as a matter of fact, is one of the proactive things you can do to ensure that you are always maintaining a high quality mental health. Yeah. Now, understanding infrastructure of the mind, the human mind is dual in nature. Yeah. I'm sure if not all of us, most of us know that there is a subconscious mind and there is a conscious mind, and that the database of the subconscious mind outweighs that of the conscious mind by 10 billion to 1, meaning that the most important chamber of your mind is your subconscious mind. But of course, schools don't teach us anything as to how to access our conscious mind. What school teaches, conventional schools teach, is this conscious mind. That it is a conscious mind that the schools teach. you know they teach the conscious mind, but the subconscious mind is in terms of database is 10 billion times bigger than the conscious mind. 10 billion. Yeah. For instance, the conscious mind processes information at 40 beats per second, whereas the subconscious mind processes information at 40 million beats per second. And nobody really has taught any, most people don't know much as to how to access that what adjective should I use to qualify it? That infinite resource called the subconscious mind. A lot of people don't know how to access the subconscious mind on cue. It only happens by accident, whereas it is in your proactively accessing the subconscious mind on cue that you're going to be able to quickly pivot your personal intelligence, your business intelligence, your relational intelligence, your navigational intelligence, whatever kind of intelligence. It's in your ability to access the content of the subconscious mind on cue, that you're even going to be able to become a force to be reckoned with in any avocation, any of your chosen avocation. Yeah. So that duality is very important. We need to pay more attention to it. And then self-worth. Self-worth. I've met a lot of people who don't have self-worth, and it's mostly because of their background. I also did not have self-worth for a very long time because of the kind of environment I grew up in, the kind of tutelage, more especially from the woman that raised me. I didn't have self-worth. She would always say things like, you're good for nothing, you're useless, like the left hand, as if the left hand is useless, as if the left hand is not connected to the human brain as well. you know um you are you're not going to amount to anything good. So all of those kind of statements, and she kept saying it to me over and over again, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out. So that made me had a very, very low self-worth, if not zero self-worth, until I eventually left, moved out at 19. And I began to hear some things and, stumble upon some content, some books and things like that, because I started reading a lot even before I moved out. That was my salvation. That was my solitary place. Books were my solitary place in my mid into late teens. Into my mid to late teenage years. Yeah. So books, I was always reading. That was more or less like where I got solace from. Because I could read that I have, I'm destined for greatness and things like that. I could read that in a book. And of course, even though my adopted mother is saying something contrary to me, but at least I'm able to see that what she's saying is not absolutely correct. It's not absolute, but until I moved out, I could not begin to proactively cultivate self-worth. And I moved out at 19. And so meaning that from 19 till now, 37, meaning 18 years now, I've proactively cultivated self-worth. And I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it. Self-worth is one of the major components of the adoption of a high quality mental health. If you have zero self-worth, if you have on a scale of 1 to 10, if you have less than 3 self-worth, something is wrong. People will be able to easily get at you. People will be able to easily put their dirty feet on your heart, on your mind, in your space, and mess it up at will. Yeah. So and like I like to tell people, self-worth stems out of self-discovery. If you have not discovered yourself, you are not going to know how worthy you are, what you're worth, how valuable you are. You're not going to know it. And until you know it, you cannot act it out. Yeah. So it's pretty important that we pay attention to our self-worth. And then the mental energy field. I've already highlighted that. The mental energy field. We all carry individual mental energy field. And I'm sure you've met some people who, the moment you met them, you don't want to leave them again. There is this sweetness about them. It's the energy field they're carrying, their aura. Can also call it aura, AURA. The aura is sweet. Yeah. And these are people who have proactively invested in their energy field, invested in themselves, invested in their thoughts. Yeah. And you also know that there are certain people that you meet and you are just feeling like I need to disengage myself with this person, because they're more or less like energy vampire. The aura around them is negatively charged, and if you came with any positively charged aura, their negatively charged aura would start literally feeding on your your energy, your positively charged energy or field, and take steal all of those positive charge and leave you depleted. So it's that's why I talked about the space management. So it's pretty important that we understand what the mental energy field is, because these are the things that eventually convince us that we are depressed. These are the things that eventually convince us that that we should not do what we have said that we want to do, aka procrastination. When you have a mental a positively charged mental energy field, you find that you easily want to do the things that you have said that you will do. What's important part time is the work you're doing, you're committed to doing every single day. So when you have a positively charged energy field, mental energy field, you find that you wake up and you want to do what you want to do. You wake up and you want to do the things that you want to do. Welcome. You find that you wake up and you want to do the things that yes, you've said that you want to do. Because I mean, when we talk about a person, a person living in this life, living in this world, yeah, what's important is that you've discovered yourself, and then you found a purpose. And in between this self-discovery and purpose discovery is work. That's a conduit that connects both. So I mean, if you are procrastinating, it means that you are procrastinating about something you've said that you want to do. That's what qualifies it to be procrastination. Because if you have not said that, okay, I want to do this, maybe you've said that these are the things I'm going to be doing in the next 6 months, in the next 3 months, in the next 7 days. And day two, you are finding it difficult to get up. It's basically because of the kind of the polarity of your energy field, mental energy field, which is something that you can proactively influence. So, our welcome. How you doing? Okay. So, do you have anything you want to say? Do you have anything you want to contribute? No, sir, I'm still listening. I'm trying to get the hang of what you're saying. Okay. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, so today's episode is mental health versus mental wealth. I'm basically saying that there is a direct correlation between your mental health and your mental wealth, which influences the material manifestation of wealth in your life. So if you do not proactively check your mental health, which is the foundation of your mental wealth, and your mental wealth is the direct conduit between what's existent in the immaterial and the material, how you are going to manifest it in the material reality, how you're going to manifest wealth in a material reality is dependent on the quality of your mental wealth. Yeah. So quickly, I'll talk about the mental wealth, shortly, right now. Um, a lot of people, a lot of people don't understand that it doesn't matter that you came from poverty. It doesn't matter that your both parents are poor, or maybe your grandparents were poor. It doesn't matter. They were poor because they didn't know any better. Because, for instance, there are no poor nation. They say they make it look like Africa is poor. If you Google Africa, you probably will see some affiliations with poverty, whereas Africa is literally the richest continent on earth. Yeah. Now, because of those narratives, you find some Africans, most especially Africans in third world countries, developing countries, allowing themselves to be limited by those narratives. They see those things on TV, they watch it on TV, they see some funny things on social media. And so they do not know that they, as individuals, most especially because we live in a free world, they do not understand that irrespective of the economy of their country, and most of the time, the standing of the economy of their country. Now, I've moved into mental wealth. Most of the time, the standing of the economy of their country is a reflection of either the intelligence or the ignorance of those who are governing the affairs of the economy. Yeah, so that is corporate. But irrespective of the shambles of the economy of any nation, individuals can still stand their ground and marshal paths to wealth. The so-called poorest country in the world is Somalia. Somalia is definitely not poor, but they say Somalia is poor. But there are a lot of individually rich people in Somalia, and I'm not talking about those who embezzled money. I don't consider public fund embezzlers as rich. Those are not rich. I'm talking about individuals who proactively marshaled ethical paths to wealth, irrespective of it's like a lake of excellence surrounded by a sea of mediocrity. It's possible for you to choose to be a lake of excellence, even in the midst of a sea of mediocrity. Yeah. And that is what this is about, most especially because nobody has any excuse, most especially if you're 21 years and above. You don't have any excuse to say that you're poor. You don't have any excuse to be languishing in poverty. That is what this episode is bordered upon. Yeah. And if people just dare to understand these dynamics, it will change the game for them. It will change everything for them. And they would soon realize that how come I was languishing in that thought process for that long. Yeah. So mental wealth. Now there are practices that a person can do to maintain, to cultivate a high quality mental health. Okay. There are a couple of practices. Number one is meditation. Number two is breath work. A lot of people are not acquainted with breath work. If anybody have any question as far as breath work is concerned, you can drop it in the comment section. Breath work. Number three is neurobics. Neurobics. It's brain exercise where you shut your brain. I'm saying you shut your eyes and you try to walk around your entire house or room. If you live in a one-room apartment, it doesn't matter. You want to walk while blindfolded. You want to try and walk through the paths that that you are supposed to walk through. Yeah. So maybe you live in a big house, you want to walk from your room to your gates blindfolded. Neurobics, it helps to cultivate a high quality mental health. So neurobics is number three. Homemade anaerobic exercises is number four. Exercises, I'm not a gym guy, I don't believe in gymming, but I believe in exercise. The exercise that you cannot do it of a home. I mean, if it's to go outside of your home to go exercise, except long walks, which I'm going to talk about too, which is part of the practices of mental health. Yeah. So push up, sit up, stretch, bridge, yoga, handstand, so those are basically the typical anaerobic exercises. And any exercise you need to do per day should not be more than 7 minutes. If it's more than 7 minutes, your body is going to be resisting it in the future. So 5 to 7 minutes exercise per day is enough to carry you through the day. And you don't need to do exercise for next tomorrow or tomorrow. You only need the exercise that is enough for you for today to activate the neurons, yeah, to ensure that there is movement of neurons all around the body. That's why you're doing the exercise. Yeah. And then taking long walks is one of the practices of cultivating high quality mental health. Taking long walks or observing. Somebody's asking, how is that we don't have any excuse to be poor because we are above 21? Okay, I'm going to answer that shortly. I'll answer that shortly. I'll answer that shortly. So taking long walks or parade style marching, when you march, like, when you march, intentionally march, the parade style, it helps to cultivate high quality mental health. And then concentration exercises. You sit in front of your door and you focus your eyes on your doorknob for the next 5 minutes uninterrupted. Those exercises are very, very powerful. They help to cultivate a high quality mental health. So if you have a wall clock or something, you follow the second hand for the next 5 minutes uninterrupted. Nothing should distract you from following that second hand. Concentration exercises. You see a tree outside, you focus on the top of the tree for the next 5 minutes. You see a telecommunication mast like MTN mast or Airtel mast or whatever. You focus at the top of the mast for 5 minutes. Those are concentration exercises, and they help a great deal to help you cultivate high quality mental health. And then the next one is juggling. A lot of people don't know the power of juggling. Juggling helps to, the brain has two hemispheres. There are two hemispheres of the brain. Yeah. So when you juggle, you are ensuring that the two hemispheres of the brain are communicating. So you can take three balls and then you are trying to juggle them in the air. You're juggling. And you can use football as well to juggle with your feet. Juggling it's a very, very high quality mental health practice. And then gardening. When you garden, when you use your hand, you're in the garden, you're trying to uproot some weed, you're deweeding the garden, you are planting. Gardening is also very, very is a very, very high quality practice. Then quality conversations as well, like we're having right now. Having quality conversation, ensuring that you identify folks who have invested in their their intellectual process, their the things that they do, their avocational process. Having conversation with such people helps your mental health as well. Yeah. So quality conversation, and then reading quality books, very good books, read very good books. And then finally visiting nature. When you pay nature visits, you go to the mountain, you go to the beach, you go to the forest, you visit somebody has a large farm, visit their farm. It helps with cultivating high quality mental health. Now back to the mental wealth aspect. I tell people that your environment is destiny. Environment is destiny. So the irrespective of a genetic makeup, your environment plays a huge role, a bigger role in the outcome of your life compared to your genetic makeup. As important as the genetic makeup is, they say that a sheep that is led by a lion, a sheep means an army of sheep, right? An army of sheep that is led by a lion would defeat an army of lion that is led by a sheep. Okay, so this has to do with environment, the kind of upbringing, your environment, your upbringing. It matters a great deal. There's something I call the infrastructure of wealth or the infrastructure of poverty. The mental health, the mindset of the people you grew up with and the environment, the physical environment you grew up with, grossly influences the outcome of your life. If you grew up in a neighborhood where 80% to 90% of those who living in that neighborhood are poor, you're definitely carrying the infrastructure of poverty. It's automatic. And if you grew up in a neighborhood where 80% are rich, you're definitely carrying the mindset of the wealthy. It's automatic because if 80% are rich, it's not fluke, it's not by chance. There's something that they are doing correctly. And by virtue of doing that, and by virtue of living in that kind of neighborhood, it's going to influence your own outcome as well. That's why I tell people who grew up in poor neighborhood to proactively change environment, move away from that environment. For as long as you remain there, you are not, because if you cannot change that environment, you don't have the power to change that environment, then what you should do is to move your own self out of that environment. At least you have power over yourself. So you can move yourself to an environment that would help you achieve the things that you have said that you want to achieve. So environment is destiny. If no matter the English you're speaking, you can be reading good books and you're in a wrong environment, it will still not manifest into anything that it should manifest into. Now, one of the things that a lot of people do is they try to look rich. They try to look wealthy. Trying to look rich is guaranteed of keeping you poor, because rich people don't try to look rich. Rich people are rich by virtue of their mindset and their corresponding actions. It is the actions that produces the wealth. Now, when you find the poor trying to imitate or copy the outlook of the rich, it just simply means that they are ignorant of how the wealth dynamics works. And that's why you are going to see them over and over again, year in, year out, complain. They're always broke. They're always complaining about their economics. They're always doing that because they're always trying to copy the rich instead of them to find out the behind the scenes of the rich. They are not doing that. And so for as long as you keep investing your efforts into trying to look rich, then you are guaranteed of remaining poor for a very long time. Yeah. So yeah. And then finally, there is something called wealth manifestations. Yeah, wealth manifestations. If you want to manifest wealth in your life, you must exit the fight or flight mode. That fight or flight, fight or flight, fight or flight. You must exit it. Yeah. And you must also walk. You must also realize that walk, WORK, work is the conduit through which wealth manifests in the material universe. Work. So you cannot be that kind of person that is saying, "Oh, grace is grace." Oh, big God, small girl, big God, small boy, big God, and all those kind of things. Work, your work ethic, it's what's important to you. If anything comes, it's bonus. But a lot of people focus on the bonus. Whereas there is supposed to be the main thing that should be the foundation of your legacy building. The main thing, and that's work. We find that too many people are lazy nowadays. You find them wanting to go to the mountain and things like that, praying, but there is no real thing that typifies work, that people can say this person is hardworking on the back of that. Nothing like that. Now, finally, it's important that we don't compare yourself with anybody, because you have the um the unique genetic makeup. You insult the infinite inherent potential of your beingness when you compare yourself with another human being, because comparing or comparison is a killer of your inherent potentials. And your inherent potential has capacity for infinite possibilities. So if you are comparing, I don't compare myself with anybody. I don't even compare myself with the richest people in the world. I don't. I look at the richest people in the world. I try to look at the behind the scenes, the things they are doing. I look at their work ethic. What time do they wake up? What time do they go to bed? And things like that. But I'm not trying to compare myself with them. I'm not. I'm just trying to learn from them to be able to extract certain lessons that I can incorporate into my life. Yeah. So I think that's about it for today's episode. Does anybody have any question? Okay, so let me just quickly answer this question. How is it that we don't have any excuse to be poor because we are above 21? Okay, first off, you have spent 2 decades in this life. If you have spent 2 decades, now, if you are poor at 21 or at 23 or at 25, I don't have a problem with it. Just ensure that you only blame yourself for it. Don't blame your background, even if you came from poverty. Don't blame your parents, even if they did not do the right thing. It is entirely now on you. It is possible for you to acquire $1 million. What is being poor and what is wealth? Okay, poverty is a mindset, and also result the result of where your upbringing, the result of your environment. That's why I say environment is destiny. So if you grew up in an environment of poverty, and by poverty we mean that you struggle to meet your basic needs. That's poverty. You struggle to meet your basic needs. Basic mental needs, basic physical needs, basic spiritual needs, basic emotional needs. That's poverty. So poverty is not just about lack of money. Okay, it's holistic. Poverty is holistic. Your environment and the quality of people that you grew up with. As a child, you don't have a choice. You inherited your parents, you inherited your elders, and then by virtue of the choices of your parents, the kind of neighborhood they decided to live, to move into. Those people, the elders or the grown-ups in that environment, if their working mindset is the mindset of poverty, they're also going to rub it off on you. So everybody is rubbing up their poverty on you. So you are by default going to have adopted that mindset until you come of age and you understand for yourself and you can chart a course for yourself. Until then, you are going to be a reflection of all that they are doing, all their poverty rub-offs. Yeah, so poverty basically is when you are unable to meet your basic needs holistically, mentally, physically, economically, emotionally, spiritually, and whatnot. And then wealth actually is when you are not only able to exhaustively meet your needs holistically, you're also able to help other people meet their needs. That's wealth. I hope I answered that question. And economically speaking, poverty is when you earn less than 10,000. When you earn less than $5,000 per year, that's poverty. $5,000 per year. That's poverty. Wealth begins at $150,000 per year. What if you can't move out of a particular location? You mentioned reading books and doing everything right. Won't take the problem. But of course, reading books, it starts the process. At least if you can't move for now, at least reading good books and then intentionally connecting with certain kind of people that that they currently are in a better economic position than yourself is helps. It helps a great deal as well. So if you cannot move immediately, yeah, no problem. But start envisioning yourself moving out. That is what part of what mental wealth is about. Wealth is first created in the mental realm before it can ever manifest in the physical realm. Yeah. So start envisioning yourself. Start visiting physical locations that are better than your neighborhood. To be able to window, as in you're more or less like window shopping. You're feeding your eyes with the ideal environment you want to live in. So you proactively visit those places. For instance, in Lagos, some of the richest neighborhoods are, in Ikoyi, Banana Island, Lekki Phase 1, Oniru, VGC. These are very rich neighborhoods. When I first came to Lagos, these were the neighborhoods I was visiting the most. There is no way when you begin to do those things proactively, it will positively influence your mindset, your mind structure, your mental pictures, because it is the most predominant mental pictures that you allow to have space in your mind that eventually manifests in the physical. The reason a lot of people are poor and remain poor for a very long time is because they envision poverty. They focus more on poverty. That's why you see them complaining and complaining. The more you're complaining, the more you attract what you're complaining about, because the mind doesn't really care about your complaints. It only cares about the thoughts that you're sending out. It cares about your utterances, the words that you're using. So, the more of the words you use, the more you are going to multiply that reality, the reality around those words. I hope I answered that question. Any other question? Somebody is asking a question here. Okay, I still don't understand how it is not an excuse to be poor because I'm above 21. Okay. Smart Cole says, I still don't understand how it's not an excuse to be poor because I'm above 21. Okay. How else should I break this down? Okay, before you clock 21, the 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 age of parenting is from 0 to 20. So it is the responsibility of your parents to determine your livelihood. It is the responsibility of your parents to determine your livelihood before you clock 20. But the moment you clock 21, it is officially your responsibility. Yes, you can be poor at 21, no problem. You can still be poor at 22, no problem. But like I said, poverty is not really just the economic manifestation of lack of money. Poverty is first here. Poverty is first mental. So you can make a decision to supplant poverty, the mental construct of poverty first. And how do we know that you're no longer poor? It is in the things you say. Maybe prior to you making that decision, you used to say normal things that every other poor person says. Now all of a sudden you're saying something different because you've started reading, you've read The Richest Man in Babylon. Your thought is changing. You've read The Science of Getting Rich. Your thought is changing. You've read As a Man Thinketh. You've read The Acres of Diamond. You've read The Secret of the Ages. And those concepts, those thought processes that you contacted in those books is now influencing your mental construct and helping you to supplant your mental, your hitherto poverty mental construct for wealthy mental construct. So if you successfully, they say you can't change your mind until you've changed your mindset. If you've successfully supplanted that mental construct and then In its place, install a new wealth construct. It will show in your chosen vocabulary, in your chosen words. All of a sudden, you're going to be talking rich, and people will be like, what's in this one? Don't we know your dad? Don't we know that are we not aware that you're poor and things like that? So that's really what I mean. Okay, Smart Call is still asking. You say environment. Um, you say environment affects the way you think. Absolutely, it does. Um, some youth in this age bracket aren't chance to such privileges. Um, I don't understand how it's not excuse. Okay, and then you say you a chance to get to Ikoyi, VGC, and etc. That's because your parents or circumstances. No, 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 no. You don't know. You don't know my story at all. My mom died poor. My dad died poor. Okay. My mom died when I was 1 year old. And my dad died when I was 7. Okay. So I became orphan at a very, very young age. And then no, I didn't have any kind of inheritance. Okay. So you don't know my story at all. So first of all, let me ask, what part of the world are you living in currently? What part of the world are you living in currently? Let's start from there. Smart call. What part of the world are you living in currently? What part of the world are you living in currently? Let's start from there. Wow, it's already 3:52. So we should be rounding off. We should be rounding off. I don't want this to be too long. So let me know. Um I thought you were coming live to come and say something. No, you're just there. Like like an attentive student. um okay, she says I understand. So tell me, what part of the world are you in right now? Where do you stay? What state are you in? Because I want to give you some suggestions. That's what I'm asking. What state are you in right now? What state are you in? Let me know. Okay, she's not answering. So Anna, sorry, Awa, do you have any question? Because if there's no question, I'm gonna have to round it off right now. Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Awa? Okay. Okay, so for those of you just joining, this is a very, very loaded episode. So please watch the rebroadcast. And if you have any question, oh, Mr. Emeka, thank you for joining. Don't worry. You have to watch the rebroadcast because we are done with the episode. So every Wednesday, we're gonna be having episodes, social media family meeting, and we'll be able to have interaction. I want it to be interactive. Okay, I want you to be able to ask questions, and I love today's episode. As we are coming up. We're coming up. I love today's episode, and um so every Wednesday, we'll come. I come live on 5 different platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, um and YouTube. Yeah, so join me 3 p.m. from between 3 and 4 p.m. I try my best to ensure that it's not up to 1 hour, but of course, because of the engagements, somebody was asking questions upon questions on Instagram, so I had to answer those questions. That is why this is happening. Yeah, so it's because of you. Yeah, so I want to be able to deliver value to you, something that you can implement as soon as today, tomorrow. Yeah, and be able to shift the pendulum of your life, your business to the next level. Yeah, so next week we're going to be talking real estate investing. So I'm inviting someone very, very special, someone who is doing great things in real estate to come and explain how you can take advantage of real estate investing, what you can do to come into real estate and start investing and start, and become an investor and start making money and start generating wealth for yourself and your loved ones and things. I think somebody asked a question. So you mentioned visiting certain places and creating your mind. Okay, yeah. What about it? I have less than 6 minutes, so what about it? What if they don't talk to you? Oh, okay. When it comes to meeting people, more especially high quality people, one of the proactive things you must ask yourself is, what can I offer this person? What value can I bring to this person's table? Because if you are coming from a standpoint of a liability, because there are basically two types of people in this world per time, assets and liabilities. So if they perceive you as a liability, they are not going to give you attention. But you have to do everything to make them perceive you as an asset to have around, as an asset to invite into their space. So you have to ask yourself that question. Because I mean, human beings are human beings. We are all social animals. That's just the truth. But there are there are there are um there are a few of those human beings who know what they want, and that's why they're even successful to begin with. So you have to ask yourself, what value do I want to offer this person? You have to look at the person's life, look at what they're doing, and then by yourself, you're like, oh, okay, I think I can do something in this area and in this person's life or business or whatever. I think I can make this contribution, this valuable contribution. Once you can make that known, there's no way they will not want to talk to you. There's no way they will not want to interact with you. So always come from a standpoint of value. If a specifically defined value that they can see as value, then they will talk to you. So guys, next week, Wednesday, we meet again by 3 p.m. Social Media Mastermind. We meet again by 3 p.m. and we would demystify the subject of real estate investing. Thank you, everybody, and do enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week. Salute to everybody. Salute to you. Salute to you. Salute to you.